today on the podcast, we have Karleen Savage, who is a sought after speaker, trainer, hostage negotiator, and conflict resolution expert with a passion for fostering peaceful, harmonious environments. Through her Savage theory of resolution, she emphasizes the importance of communication and collaboration in order to achieve success. Through more than 15 years of professional experience, Karleen has learned that the conflicts we experience in business are usually a reflection of the conflicts happening at home. This belief inspired her to write her book, The Confident Teen Blueprint, which we're going to be talking about today. So throughout her career, Karleen has worked with corporations, educational institutions, nonprofit organizations, and government agencies, creating a positive environment for growth and development. Welcome, Karleen, to the podcast.
Thanks, Tess. Glad to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. And as I just said to you right before we went on air, started recording here, is I do want to have you, if you can let our audience know a little bit about who you are and kind of what you do. And I'm fascinated about being a hostage negotiator. I'm just interested in that component of your background. So welcome to the podcast. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, mom of 7, and that's going on 4 decades. So when I wrote my book, it was with 4 decades of experience behind it. Been married for decades and just had to, I ran into my own personal struggles. So I had to go figure things out, because if you're really looking to resolve situations, you kind of look at yourself as it's unique. I can't find it. So I went and found my own, which was going back and getting my master's in conflict resolution and negotiations. Then I began mediating in the courthouse, doing business to business, domestic, divorce, child custody situations. And I just saw good people just making poor decisions because they had no place else to go. Yeah. And from there, I went on and I was certified in hostage negotiations, and I've done that for 8 years, certifying for 8 years. And then I loved that. So then I went and got certified in crisis negotiations, and I worked crisis lines. So that's kind of what brought me here.
Wow. It's really fascinating. You've got, well, I do know, I mean, I can only imagine that dealing with divorce, child custody, the kind of conflict relationship, it is difficult. I have done like co-parenting, and I mean, I've done it, but I've also done it as a professional, helping parents who are getting divorced come up with their parenting agreements, right? What the court is going to take in. I'm not part of the court. I'm separate. But man, that kind of work, I would imagine day in and day out, has got to be really tough.
I think it is really tough for people with with different perspectives. Me, I love it. I absolutely love the work. I love dealing with conflict. And it's because that's where the magic happens if you dare walk into it. If you are so bold and courageous and brave is what you do. It's not a thing. If you are brave and courageous and you walk into that, you have a stronger opportunity to find resolve, healing, repivot, course correct. It is just epic. And so I genuinely love the industry, and that's why I sit in it. It is a lot of work when you have and hold people's lives in your hand. Not everybody takes the same view as me, and that is, I'm holding people's lives. So let's not cut corners. Let's not, shave off truth. Let's not shave off opportunity. Let's allow the process to work for them. Yeah. And so I genuinely love it.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. So can we get into your Confident Teen Blueprint? Because I know parents that are going to be listening are like, all right.
What is it? Why? It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yes. What's going? I mean, I'm just thinking it's as I was reading your longer bio, I was reading it. I read part of it here, and people know a little bit about you now, but it almost feels like we parents of teenagers need a master's in conflict resolution and hostage negotiation and
No
everything else
kidding.
to parent a teenager at times. So I'm chuckling at that because I'm just like, oh my God, that's a great background to have as a parent to a
Yeah.
teenager. But here, instead of us all going out and getting masters in conflict resolution, Karleen is going to tell us uh
Yep.
there we go. How to
Buckle up.
So let's talk about your confident team blueprint and
Okay.
all about it.
It is basically it's what I've been doing since I was about 10 or 11. And that is collecting information, data, about what works, what doesn't work, and then applying. Like I said in the beginning, I have 7 kids, and I will not be the parent that says everything went smoothly. It didn't. Thank heavens. It did not go smoothly. Parenting is an evolution, not a perfection. And so again, I say, do brave. If you do it, then you can evolve. And that is what parenting really is. So the book, The Confident Teen Blueprint, is basically what I did is I took my history. People have been asking me for decades, Karleen, what are you doing? Now, it started when my kids were young. They're 7 years old and they do chores. What? How does that happen? Why are they doing it without a fuss? How come nobody's kicking and screaming? And then as they got older, it was like, oh my gosh, look at how well they clean, or look at how they've said, I love you. They've kissed you in front of people. How is that happening? You must not have kids that misbehave. And this is what has evolved over the decades. And as they've gotten older, now they're adults. I have kids in their 40s. Now they're going, holy cow, they talk to you, they come home. How does that happen? How do you get that? So the Confident Teen Blueprint was me going, okay, just warp back all these years. How did you do it? And I came down with 3 major things that I did to build confident teens. So the Confident Teen Blueprint buckles down into 3 ideas. And the point of the whole thing is, if you as a parent get these ideas down, then your evolution, your opportunity at confident teens increases. Now, I've had all 7 of mine leave the house with confidence, like crazy confidence. And I'm going to tell you, Tess, there's a cost to letting your kids have confidence. And are we bracing for that as parents? We talk about it a lot, but do we have the method to get there? So I wrote it down in 3 areas in the Confident Teen Blueprint. It's a 30-day challenge for parents to empower their kids. And so, yeah, I don't know if you want me to go into it or what you want.
You just said something that just piqued my interest, and that is there's a cost to having kids leave the home confidently. What is, can we start? I don't know. Can we start there? What is the cost? And then, yes, I would like to, if we could get into it, because I know parents are going to want to hear this.
Well, you just guide me to where you want me to go. But here's the cost. The cost is, are you willing to let them stand alone? Because they will. We talk, rage, go on and on about confidence. And yet, when we look in society, it's broken. We are reactionary instead of holding our space. We retaliate instead of knowing who we are. So the cost to having confident kids is, are you willing to let them stand alone and be okay? Or are you going to be the jittery parent who stands on the sidelines going, oh my gosh, this is so uncomfortable? Are you willing to let them hold their decisions and be responsible for them? Confidence breeds a kind of isolation in a way because the other kids aren't doing it. I had my 12-year-old daughter. She's in her 40s now. She came home when she was about 12, 11 or 12. And she goes, Mom, am I supposed to feel bad about myself? And I kind of looked at her and I was like, whoa, okay, here's a moment, Mom. What are you going to do with it? And so I said, why? What happened?
Yeah.
She said, I was talking to all these girls and they were talking about how they were fat and they didn't like their hair and they don't like their teeth. And then, they didn't like their parents and all this stuff. And she goes, and I sat there and said, and they looked at me and I told them, what? I feel great about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of divided those relationships.
Yeah.
Why? Because we breed on negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Yeah.
media. We breed on it. We need it. We need you to relate to me. And the way we relate is by saying something negative about myself or about an experience.
Yeah.
But if you have confident teens aren't really doing that. Confident teens are holding their own space. Are you willing to let them stand alone? That's a price. I have two
Yeah.
boys achieved national ranking in soccer in the US. Okay. We came out of Idaho and athletes did not come out of Idaho. And when we would go to the games, parents would get so upset with us because we would go, no, come on, you got to do it. You can do it. Do that. You get to that ball. That's the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would do what we did at home, which is talk about what's the job? How do you play? What do you do? And so when we were out there, we'd say, come on, you can get it. You can. Things like that. And so parents would come over and say, you should just be cheering, for their best effort. And I'm going, okay, wait a minute. I talk to my kids. I know what they're looking for. I know what they want. They've already described all this. I'm going to support that. We ended up being the parents that sat at the other end from where the team was because the parents couldn't manage. So, but their biggest celebration was when their kids made mistakes. That was the biggest celebration on the soccer field. Good job, Charlie. You did great. Good try. Good effort. And I'm going, I just sat silent because they already knew. They already knew that they messed up. I'm not gonna pander to that. And I'm not gonna make them feel like, okay, let's call this out. And we would course correct. So they achieved national rankings. They're the only two that achieved national rankings. They changed the entire defensive game in soccer for the entire state of Idaho because they had the confidence to hold their back line. Why? Because I didn't pander to what society wanted for them. I looked at them. I said, what do you want? How do you want to get there? This is what it looks like. Are you ready to do it? And I held that space for them. So confident, and I can go through every child of mine, not just every child. We've had about a dozen people live with us that all came with baggage, and we had to do things with them to try and help recover. So I'm not coming from a place of isolation where I don't get it. I'm coming from a place of, I know what bad looks like. I know from my own life what lack of confidence looked like.
Yeah.
Are we willing to pay the price as parents to let them be confident, truly confident?
Yeah. So what I want to, I want to understand this, and I want to understand this because I keep my mind in the mind of any parent that's listening to this. So the cost, really, to go back to the question that I asked you, and that is, the cost is really to allow them to be and to make the choices they're going to make. Let them let them make their own choices. And for us to kind of let them have a little bit more space. I'm kind of just reframing what you just said, but let them have their own space, let them make their own choices. And they need to kind of stand alone at times in the world as they grow up.
I mean, there's parameters because I talk about it in my book. There's parameters, but if you use your parameters and the 3 skills that I talk about, if you use those, then yes, we get confused thinking that freedom comes first. That ability to stand alone comes first. No, it doesn't. The ability to teach, model, show, walk them through it, that comes first. Understanding boundaries of what's expected and what isn't, shouldn't be allowed, or what isn't the correct method to do, that comes first. Once you do those things, then yes, you let them stand, you let them hold, you let them be accountable. I mean, it's interesting to watch and say, get a call from the principal that says, hey, we have an issue with your child. You go in, I say, bring my child. Oh no, we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to talk to you first. No, 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 no. I don't do the he said, she said.
Mm.
Bring my child in here. I
Mm-hmm.
promise
Yeah.
you they will tell you the truth because it's very difficult to lie when
Yeah.
all the people are in the same room together.
Right.
So that's the accountability piece. So yeah, you do let it. And are you willing to
Yeah.
hear them,
Yeah.
hear what they think and they say and they do? Are you willing to hear, yeah, I did it because I wanted to. I was a
Mm-hmm.
bully because I wanted to. Okay, well, most parents, you've got to lie to
Yeah.
them. You
Mm-hmm.
can't say, I was the bully. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
one who caused the problem. And when you can, that's confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay, so I definitely get it that in order to let them kind of be on their own, make the choices, they are there's definitely a back piece to that. There's like more
Yeah.
of that kind of grounding in order to kind of get there. I want to can I go back just so I want to understand and for our audience, I want to go back to your example of the soccer field, right? Because this is a classic one. I think this is common for a lot of parents in different ways, whether they got girls playing, boys play, or they've got other sports. But so on the sidelines, you as parents, what can you describe a little bit about what you were doing as a parent that looked different? And then how old were your kids at this time? I'm just curious. What was the age?
My kids probably were about 11.
Okay, so middle schoolish.
Yeah, middle
Okay,
school and then on up.
on up right
And
from there. Okay.
yeah.
So as you're on the sideline, what is your I guess your feedback or what are you saying to your kid during that game? And what were you hearing from the other parents?
So things that we would say on the sidelines,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, just like what we were just talking about, Tess,
Yeah.
there was a preface. We
Yeah.
had a building at home. We had
Right.
a conversation at home. We understood the goals. We understood where they were going. So when we were out there,
Yeah.
we would tell the truth. We
Mm-hmm.
would not tear them apart for making mistakes. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
But what we would do is when we would see and we know their capabilities, do you know the
Yeah.
capabilities of your kids? Have you pushed
Mm-hmm.
them enough to see their strength? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But we did. So we
Mm-hmm.
understood I can make you run. We lived on 2 acres. I'd make them run 50 laps. And
Mm-hmm.
I would see where their pressure points were, right?
Yeah.
I'd also run them down and make them tired. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but so we're on the sidelines and it would be, watch your back. You know to watch your back. Watch your backside. He's coming around. You've
Okay.
got this. You're going to do it. No, no,
Okay.
no. You've got to move this way. Pay attention. Talk to each other. Those are the kinds of things that we would
Okay.
say because
Yeah.
that's what a defender is required to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That makes sense. That gives me a kind of a context to what you were talking about. And then the other parents were did you get feedback? I'm just curious. Did you get feedback from other parents that you were doing something different because you weren't just cheering?
Yeah, we did get feedback from other parents, but that was irrelevant to me
Yeah.
because the only ones that mattered were my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also keep in mind when you're building confidence in your kids, the parents don't want it either. Here's
Mm,
why. Because that boy over there,
mm-hmm.
Greg or
Yeah.
Travis over there,
Mm-hmm.
they're not as fast. They're not being pushed to be their best.
Mm,
They're being pushed to be their what they're comfortable with being pushed, but
mm-hmm.
not any farther. And so their parents didn't talk to them. And so what happens is the parents are going, oh, you know, the reason they're that way is because of their parents. And so the feedback we would get is, just tell them they did a good job. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You're assuming in this 45 minutes that you and I have been together that I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
when that first came to me, that
Yeah.
feedback first came to me, I remember going to my boys and going, hey, so some of the parents are saying that I should just support you by saying good job. And when you make a mistake, they think I should encourage you by going, good try, good effort.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about that? And they rolled their eyes and they said, Mom, that is ridiculous. We don't want that. We trust what you say.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't trust what you say,
Yeah.
then we don't know how to do better. So
Okay.
we want to do better. We want to be the best. We want to, go up to the top levels that
Yeah.
if we can.
Yeah.
So yeah, you honor that.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay. Thank you so much for at least for me, I needed to clarify kind of that understanding of like kind of what was actually happening on the sideline and the feedback. And now I kind of get it. I understand that piece of um parents uh focusing like and stay, say that there's a mistake, the kid does something and it's like, it's okay, shrug it off, let it go. It's don't worry, buddy, it's fine. Whatever the phrase may be. And I have heard that too. I probably may have said it myself. I'm just going to be quite honest. And part of I'm just going to say for parents that are listening here, and welcome Karleen to say anything about this, but I'm going to say, like, as a parent who probably has done that at different times, is we don't want to feel like they made a mistake. They missed that kick, or I'm going to put it in the baseball context because my son played baseball for a long time. He struck out and you just feel like, oh, you're cringing for them. You can feel you're feeling the pain, whatever that pain may be, disappointment, whatever it is about them. Like, they've got to feel it, as opposed to us kind of trying. I kind of think of it as doing a quick, like, giving them kind of a quick cover up in a way of the feeling that they've got to feel, whether they struck out at the plate, they missed the ball, they made a mistake. The parents are jumping on that because they don't want their kid in some kind of emotional distress or pain. That's my sense of it.
It
And as a
is, and
parent, yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's so accurate. The problem is that we just infused them to feel the pain.
Mm,
Why? Because we didn't hold. We didn't hold the space. We
well,
felt the space
yeah.
for them. We felt it for them. We don't know how they feel.
Ex-
Maybe they're just going, Shh, frick, it was just a game. I don't care. We don't know. But what we're feeling is the shame,
mhm.
the embarrassment. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Ooh. And Charlie is getting it,
Mhm.
who's
Yep.
on the mound, if that's the case, or he's
Yeah.
playing third base and he's getting it. He's
Hmm.
getting, oh, mom and dad, ooh, they're disappointed. They're feeling that.
Yeah.
And we infuse that emotion onto them. What parents don't understand is what you model
Hmm.
silently or openly
Hmm.
is what they get.
Yeah.
They get it when they're a newborn
Hmm.
and when they're 2 years old. They get, I don't understand
Hmm.
what's happening, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
tension in this room, right? They get it. So why are we pretending like they don't get it when we're sitting up in row, 19? Because they've watched us be disappointed with those.
Yeah.
Instead, the option is to hold.
Yeah.
My kids, when I would tell them, for example, your only job as a defender is to protect your goalie and never let the ball get by.
Hmm.
That is it. That's the whole job. I
Yep.
don't care. How do you want to get it done? Now, you can't hurt people, you can't do
Right.
all these
Right.
things, okay, parameters, but your job is to protect your goalie and never
Yep.
let the ball get by. That is the only thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
Now, when they would let it get by, I would just hold the space. And here's the talk that's going on in my head compared to the talk that you're sharing, right?
Yes. Right.
The talk that's going on in my head is, oh, they're totally capable to get that. They'll course correct. That's
Hmm.
what I'm thinking.
Hmm. Yeah.
Where society is telling me, go, oh my gosh, ooh, they scored on you. That was the winning score. Oh crud. Ooh, no, I am so into my kids. I am so
Yep.
confident about their abilities that I'm
Hmm.
sitting there going, they'll course correct that.
Hmm.
And I might be on the sidelines going, okay, he's left-footed. That's something I might say versus a parent going, great job, good effort, nice try. I
Yeah.
would say, pay attention, he's left-footed.
Hmm.
So he will score on you on the left side,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
on the left foot. And then they go, oh, course correct. That's easy. So that's the
Hmm.
stuff going through my head. I
Yeah.
don't feel shame for them at all.
Yeah.
They're so capable. But if I deliver shame for them, they
Hmm.
will begin to absorb shame, as that is the
Yeah.
feeling they must feel in this situation.
Yeah. Karleen, you just this is interesting. We're getting into an area I didn't even expect to get into, but I think it's a good conversation. Uh and we're going to keep talking about your confident team blueprint. But this part, I think this is so so important, that I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take it, and roll with it here.
Okay.
Um, so that's the difference is we as parents, I'm saying it because I know I've done it myself, but we have such which is good. We have an attachment to our child. They have an attachment to us.
Yes.
Whether they are, now there's a difference too, whether they're 8, 12, or like, you know, I've got a 15-year-old now. I behave differently, obviously, in different contexts, like wherever they are. But that part of like a kid messing up in public, I'm just saying during a sports game, right? Or someone who's doing, I don't know, a musical thing or play or whatever it is, and you mess up, and we want to take it. I mean, really what we're trying to do is kind of take away the disappointment for them by kind of rubbing. That's why I think just you putting a little warm blanket over them really quickly, kind of, we can't, let's not feel it. And that's what I hear. That's what we need to do as parents, is to allow them the space to fail, whatever, in whatever context that looks like, right? We're not going to watch them cross a street, with cars going. We're not doing that. We're talking about their everyday, whether that's failing a test at school or something, they messed up on their speech presentation they had to give, during middle school, whatever it is, to just be, I mean, I'm saying this now. I haven't always done it, but to be a little bit more curious about how they feel about it. And they may say, I should, I don't think, I haven't done the explicit stuff here. But I mean, I am sorry, I'm around a teenager, so the F-bomb seems to be getting thrown around in between things, where I'm sure in middle school it wasn't, but it is now. But I messed up. Like whatever they're going to say about it, right? Oh, that doesn't feel good. Or I just don't even want to talk about it right now. Like, I hear that. I don't want to talk about it right now, but then later they'll come back around and talk about it. We've got to allow them, what I'm hearing from you, we've got to allow them that space to be able to feel and whatever it is, the situation that's kind of going on. And I do agree with you that, that's the whole growth mindset too, of like, we've kind of learned that, you did a great job. You're a great kid, like those kind of like general statements,
They're
cliches. And
cliches.
we need, I mean, we've learned, we know this over the last decade or more of parenting, but getting specific. I saw you when you put, like, I'm just doing baseball again. I can't help it because I'm a baseball mom. Put the glove down and you caught that ball at shortstop that time, as opposed to like running through his legs. That was great because I saw, we had practiced that putting the glove on the ground kind of thing. So whatever the specifics are, we're praising that specific behavior, because those are kind of, if that's the way we're looking at shaping behavior. So I think this is really important, all this stuff that you're talking about. So I'd love to, can we dig into this a little bit more of your confident teen blueprint?
Yeah, we can. I was just going to say we did debriefs after the games. So we call them debriefs, and we'd say, so what did you think? And so then they start talking about the play or this play, things that they remembered. You remember that guy with this color cleat? This is what he did, and this is what he was saying on the field, and so this is what I did. And so there's a whole other thing happening that we have no part of. Right. And that's all the talk, trash. The trash talk that's happening out there, the movement, the eye look, the thing that somebody said to get back for his buddy, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so you hear it.
Yeah. Right.
And you hold the space, and then you look where they're going to go in that conversation. And then you, talk about it. But then what you do is you break down, okay, well, how'd that guy get past you? That's so crazy that he did. What happened? Well, this is what, and so, my guy was yelling this, and this guy was yelling that. I couldn't see behind me, so I went ahead and moved, and then you find out their story.
Right.
Yeah. And then you course correct if it needs it. Or you say, oh, well, that makes total sense. You're going to get it next time. You got to tell your team to talk to you clearly, or to tell you, or you can't rely on that guy because he's worried about himself. So now that teammate worries too much about himself. So you got to pay attention. That's course correcting. That's allowing space to be held. There's no shame.
Yeah. Right.
It's beautiful. So confident team blueprint.
Okay.
Sorry, I digress.
Oh my God, no, I love it. I don't mind this. I hope the listeners, I don't think, because we're digging into some good stuff here. I love that afterwards, the kind of the debrief, right? Because I know parents want to like go over everything. I think it's a great time to kind of ask again, how do you feel like it went? What do you think? You know, that kind of thing, to
Right.
let them do it. And I just had this experience where I have a freshman in high school. He played football last year. When when you're watching football, you don't get into you're not like, it's not like baseball or even think soccer where you're right on the sidelines. You are back up in the stands. There's such a big football
Yeah.
team. There's so much space. You don't know all the details. And so I heard so much of what went on for him, of like
Hmm.
whether it was the coach getting upset about this, or oh my God, those kids on that other team, and then they did this, and this is why we had to do that, or whatever, however it affected their playing. I didn't know any of that because
Right.
you can't hear it. So it's
Right.
great to have that space and that time as you're walking to the car or picking him up from the locker room, whatever it is, to just listen. So I like the debrief.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do it.
let's let's get into our conversation about the blueprint.
Yeah. So confident team blueprint is broken
Yeah.
down into 3 pieces.
Mhm.
Um, and the first piece is your overarching philosophy. And
Mhm.
this is why this is like a meat and potatoes kind of moment.
Okay.
Because if you as a parent don't have overarching philosophies of what you
Mhm.
want your kids to know when they leave your home,
Yeah.
then it will be willy-nilly. It'll be their guide, they're the ones rowing the boat. And as every emotional thing that happens, every change that happens in their life, they
Mhm.
will be guiding the chaos. If you have your
Mhm.
overarching philosophies are 50,000 foot view.
Mhm.
What do you generally want your kids to know?
Yep.
One of them for me was I wanted my kids to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, they are loved.
Yep.
No matter what they do, no matter what they say, they are loved. That is an overarching philosophy.
Mhm.
Okay, my next piece in that is you have to have your mantras.
Mhm.
Okay, so some people might call them affirmations.
Yeah.
I don't get into affirmations because I think we have diluted them in
Mhm.
society by saying, lie to yourself, just tell yourself 10 times every day.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll believe it, you'll catch up, and I'm not that girl. I'm
Mhm.
not that
Mhm.
parent. I am pretty transparent and pretty truthful with my
Mhm.
kids.
Yeah.
So mantras are the statements you make to support that.
Mhm.
If your
Yeah.
overarching philosophy is I want my kids to know they are loved,
Yeah.
what do you say every day in mantras? Now it doesn't have to be one line. It could be several different ways that you say it. Like, oh my gosh, you are the most handsome man I've ever seen. That is a mantra to support, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
You are loved. Um, and then mantras. So you have
Mhm.
different ways that you're going to say,
Yeah.
love you. It could be,
Mm.
I love you. It could be, you look so amazing. It could be they brought home a C and you said, was this your best? Oh my gosh, this is great. This is fabulous that you did that. Good for you. And then the third piece is your implementation plan,
Mhm.
usually in a conflict.
Yeah.
So I have my overarching philosophy, my mantras. Now I'm going to go to a conflict situation. It's
Mhm.
how I implement.
Yeah.
And how am I going to show that I love them no matter what?
Mhm.
Using my mantras, they've heard me say it. Now I've got
Yeah.
to prove it,
Yeah.
right? This is where rubber meets the road. Now I'm going to prove it. How am I going to prove it? Here we go into a conflict. I'm not happy about something, right? So I'm a mom and I found out
Mhm.
something. My children cheated.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a call from the high school. My 2 children cheated. My daughter did her homework of my son. They got
Yeah.
caught. So there we are. And
Yeah.
I got called. So how do you deliver that message? Hey, I got to talk to you.
Mhm.
Okay, number one, at the end of the day, know that I love you,
Mhm.
but we got to get down and dirty about this.
Yeah.
So I got a call from the principal and your
Mhm.
teacher, and apparently you guys did homework for each other, had them do homework, something
Yeah.
happened there. So tell
Yeah.
me what that is. And that's the implementation.
Mhm.
Now they tell the story. There's still consequences. I'm sorry, but there's still you're still gonna have to go talk to the teacher. You might get an F in the class.
Right.
Those are the outcomes that you're going to be dealing with. And,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm saying. Confidence. Are you willing to stand and hold? Are you willing to stand next to them while they do it? Here's my thing. I will stand next to you if you tell me the truth. I will always stand next to you. I do not care what you did.
Mhm.
Now, but we're telling the truth. So
Yeah.
that was the implementation. Here's the rest of the implementation. After it's all said and done, I go talk to them and I say, hey, are you good? You got an F. So what was interesting is the one who didn't do the homework, he got a pass. The one that cheated and did homework for her and the brother, she got an F. So is that fair? Is that unfair? No, I think they should have both, been penalized, but that's not the way it went. So do you hold? Do you hold as being brave? Parents, are you going to hold? I'm going to hold. I'm not going to necessarily issue my opinion on that. I might if we're aftermath.
Yeah.
And so the implementation plan is I got to talk to you, but I want you to know I love you. And if you tell me the truth, I stand with you. If you lie to me, I can't. And so then you let the chips fall where they may. You have go over the consequences that could be happening, things that they're going to have to do to deal with that. And then you stand afterwards. Hey, how did it go? Oh my gosh. Okay. So I would say to my one son, oh my gosh, you didn't even do the homework and you got a pass. Are you serious? Because my overarching philosophy is I love them. At the end of the day, this is not life altering. And even if it was, I'm going to stand with you if you tell me the truth. So implementation.
Okay.
So those are the three most important overarching philosophies. Parents, we need to stop letting our babies dictate the life. Our future. We're the ones responsible when they're newborns and as they age. And when they get to teens, we have to remember they are pre-adults. They're not wise adults. They're pre. So you train, you counsel, you suggest, you show options, and then you let them make the choice, let them choose by their behavior, good or bad. And then you implement and you show up the way you promised. Somebody asked me, what's the best discipline to do for kids, for teenagers? What's the best discipline? I said, the best discipline is follow through.
For you to follow through or for them
parents
to
to follow through.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a threat, if you're going to give a consequence, follow through. The minute you lose that trust, that confidence to follow through, they lose theirs.
Yeah. I completely agree with you there. I mean, there's so much there. Karleen, there's so much here. You can see me like taking notes. Well, there's a lot to like kind of unpack. I just want to say on that last point, about following through. I completely agree with you that and I think of it being consistently following through as much as you can. Really.
It.
It's just exactly. Otherwise, they're not going to trust you. Like I'm right now in a week where some stuff went on last weekend, and for good reason. My kiddo, because there's another whole topic about how kids lose their phone and what for, and blah blah blah. Anyway, the phone's gone because it's a little bit, we needed a reset for both of us, and we needed to repair some stuff that went on last weekend, some significant stuff. So, I've said it's back on Friday, meaning you'll get it back on Friday. The only thing you can do is, because unfortunately these phones are here, like it's the only way they can communicate with friends about different things that are going on. So I said, stand next to me, text your friends, because that's the communicate. Like I can no longer do that for a 15-year-old. I don't have the kids' numbers and all that. Other than that, there's no phone. And I said that, and I got to tell you, it is like this kid has been working every angle around anything, trying to get this, accidentally taking it with him to the orthodontic appointment that's down the street because mom wasn't there to hold, you know what I mean? Like, and I was just
So can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I love this. And here's why. He's trying every angle. And I hope your audience hears that. Trying every angle, do you know how brilliant that is?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I would do with my kids. When I would see this kind of just constant all the way down, I would look at them like I have one that's just stealth mode master. And so I would say, oh my gosh, you are brilliant. For you
Right.
to be able to do this is brilliant. See, I won't work in the lie or in the where we don't say it, don't speak, don't
Yeah,
tell.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't speak in that language either. So it's
Mhm.
like I just call it out, but I call it out for its gift. The
Yeah.
gift is that boy is brilliant. You have a
Well,
brilliant boy on your hands. And what can he do with that? And this is my conversation
mhm.
with my
Yeah.
team. My conversation goes, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Look at all the different ways you tried to master that. That is brilliant. But you know how you're going to use that?
Yeah.
This is how you're going to use that. You're going to be able to read people. And when you
Mhm.
really need something to move, do you know the magic that can happen? How you
Yeah.
can get people to follow you for what's right? If
Right.
you're playing baseball, do you know how that you can build that team using that
Yeah.
exact
Yeah.
strategy?
Yeah.
You're going to just find the opportunity and you're going to blow it up and you're going to look for it. Nobody's going to call you out on that. That is a gift. Learn how
Yeah.
to use it. Because I believe every negative that's happening for our kids and they
Yes.
do, there is an
Mhm.
absolute gift and a
Yeah.
goodness to that. So
Right.
for me, I call those things out.
That's great. I got to tell you, I have done that many times with him
Mm,
because my my mom, so his grandmother, just thinks he's like, because we've gone back to go visit them in Michigan, and so then they're watching the dynamic with us for many days on end, right? And
yeah.
she's like, he is like master negotiator. Like
So,
he's really like he's also an only child, right? I'm the primary parent. So it's kind of just, me and him. And so he really like he works it. And I have said that to
so
him, like
good.
master negotiator. And my mom's like, he's got to be a lawyer. He's got to be a lawyer. I mean,
Yeah.
this kid can like maneuver. Anyway, going back to following through parents, I followed through. Like I'm coming back from a retirement party last night. I'm not at home, but he's like, he's going over to his dad's house,
Mhm.
and I'm going over dad's. And so, can I just take my phone to dad's? It's just for the night, just for and then I won't take it to school. I'll leave it at dad's. And I could hear it just again, the negotiating and mass and maneuvering. And I'm like, no, the agreement is we are holding to what I said. And so
So
you're
good,
leaving the
Mom.
phone. And as I'm saying it and I'm driving and I'm thinking his tone was so lovely and friendly at first. And then it did get, okay, well, fine. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Yep. Bye, mom. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew I was getting
Yep.
like a little bit of the snappier, not happy with you kind of tone, but
So true.
that's what we need to do. Um, okay, so there's so much great stuff here. The philosophy, and I kind of think of that as those are your values, your family's values, right? Of like what you're all about for your own family. That
Yeah.
macro view of the 50-foot view, and then the mantras are really the statements that we do to kind of support them, and whether that statements
Support,
with them
support
and also
the,
the whole philosophy, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then implementation, just cannot say enough about. That's the work. I feel like all I do is as a parent coach. I mean, yes, we do some mindset shift stuff and we're doing, all of that, but and then teaching, but it's all about implementing. That's really where it's parents get stuck. Like, okay, I tried
Yeah.
this, but with my kid, this happened. And how do we then adjust? And really that's kind of the part of figuring out natural consequences versus kind of like, what we're going to do about a situation. There's all kinds of things that came up, but I like that you
True.
talked about the implementation, holding on that, and then following
Yeah.
through.
It's
So
so true.
yeah.
And that implementation um, becomes the part where I think you're implying that we can fall apart. The pressure's heavy. The pressure is heavy to
Yes.
implement our love because love doesn't always look like granting all these favors and doing all these things.
Yes.
Love actually looks like discipline, consistency, making them experience the hard stuff that they
Yeah.
self-inflicted. It's
Yeah.
all of those kinds of things. And then standing next to them going, I'm here.
Yeah.
I've always said, I want my kids, if they're going to screw up, I want them to do it here
Mhm.
because nobody out there is
Yeah.
going to love them like I can.
Yeah.
And and yet we as parents, we look at when they make mistakes in our home,
Hmm.
we look at that as a failure.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, how
Yeah.
did that happen?
Right.
I've
Right.
screwed up. No,
Yeah.
this is where you evolve. Step up
Right.
to the plate, get your confidence together, know your
Yeah.
philosophies, know
Mhm.
how you're going to implement that and have accountability. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful
No,
what you've done.
it's
What you've
amazing.
done, Mama.
Oh, thank you. I love this. It's amazing. I almost feel like, Karleen, we might need a part two
Oh,
to
fine. Let's
to
do.
go into this. I mean, there's a lot, but so right now, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience
I
here?
guess if I could share anything, and it's just
Mhm.
from my heart to theirs,
Yeah.
is look, you will never ever find me saying you're the wrong parent. You are the
Mm.
right parent. So then the only thing you need to
Mhm.
do is learn the skill.
Yeah.
That's it. You are the right person for the job. You're the right person to love them, to stand
Yeah.
with them, to hold them accountable. You're the right person. Learn the skill.
Yeah. Thank you. That is great. I love this conversation with you. So
Oh, thanks. Me too.
thank you for being on the podcast. And I want to ask you one last question I ask all my guests, and that is, what are you grateful for?
Opportunities. Opportunity in
Mhm.
every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
It's just, that's how I view it. This is an opportunity.
Mhm.
Spending time with you, getting to know you, opportunities to experience wow, I have experienced so much ugly, with my kids and
Mhm.
so much elation.
Mhm.
Just opportunity to just work and
Yeah.
be creative and just opportunity. Grateful for it.
Love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
So happy to be here with you.